Some thunder still coming in. Like I said, coming in too far east of us to hit us. Maybe it'll hit Queen Creek, but it's not gonna hit us. Blow it down just a little bit so we can get some lightning. Doggy. Chicken's already went to bed. Chicken goes on my lap. Just watching the storm come in. Let's see if I can turn this down just a little bit. Look at that. Samsung is really good low light camera, but it doesn't. I like actually shooting in low light. See, isn't that like just better? Samsung's like, no, we gotta make it bright so everyone can see. It's much darker out here than this camera is telling you. It's crazy. There's the sunset. Looks really pretty this afternoon. Yeah. Well, someone's getting rain. I guess that's good. We haven't gotten any rain in Phoenix. Like in Mesa, where I live, we've had one short rain this monsoon season, which wasn't even like, it didn't even wake me up. It's pretty depressing. The cell is getting bigger. I just don't think it's gonna get big enough to get to us. It's a lot bigger than the one we had the other night. We'll know if the wind comes. If the wind comes, it means it's already dropping all of its rain and we're not gonna get anything. But we haven't gotten the outburst yet, so maybe, who knows, maybe it'll happen. Mm-hmm. It's been an interesting couple months. Being calm is terribly underrated. Being able to look at a problem and not immediately react to it is a powerful thing. I'm just now learning this. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about, but makes you appreciate simple things a lot more. Petting your cat, watching somebody on the Arizona skyline get completely pounded by a storm. I remember growing up as a kid up in northeastern Arizona and watching the monsoons come in, and it was pretty much guaranteed you were going to get a rainstorm almost every afternoon, if not by every 3 days we'd get an afternoon downpour. You could almost set your watch to it. And you'd sit up on these mesas or cinder pit cones, and look out over the skyline, and you could, I don't know, see maybe almost 20 miles uninterrupted. And you see these storms come up. And I mean, those things go up something like an insane altitude. Like, they carry an immense amount of energy. And be able to witness it from afar, but enough to see the entire perimeter of the storm, is it's humbling. Seeing the forces at work in nature. I say like a typical thunderstorm has, it's something insane. Something like, I won't even insult you with my estimation, but exponentially more powerful than any atomic warhead we've ever detonated. It's pretty scary and awesome at the same time. The storm's getting big. Haven't seen one this big in a while. And it is not really coming towards us anymore. It's just getting bigger. The way I can tell, look at the top of that big telephone pole, and the cloud formation from our perspective hasn't changed. Of course, I did switch formats on this camera, so maybe it is getting closer. It feels like it's getting closer. You start to see these palm fronds move, so it's catching the outdraft right now slowly. So yeah, we're not going to get anything of this, I don't think. Maybe some dust. It's a pretty awesome storm though. That one popped up out of nowhere. That one just metastasized in about, I don't know, 15 minutes. What we really want is something coming from that direction, but I don't see it happening. Not tonight. We'll see. Thunderstorms are always just, I can sit and watch them until they're completely gone. It's like, I don't know. Some mallards flying over the canal. They're like, we're getting out of Dodge. We gotta find somewhere to hide. Maybe that's a sign. The ducks are like, yeah. Oh, that's a scary sound. It scared the shit out of the cat and the dog. Me a little bit. It's just a pump, guys. So SRP bought the house behind us, I don't know, 5-6 years ago, because they had a well over in this corner, right kind of behind where my sunshade is for my pond. And the water table for the pump house, the entire table fell out, and they had to go down another 1,000 feet or 800 feet. And for them to drill that far, they couldn't drill in the same spot. So they acquired or eminent domains the house behind us. Probably paid them good money for it. I don't know. But then they put a drill here and drilled non-stop for like 5 days. And that shook our entire house the entire time. About gave me a psychotic break. Trying to go to bed and the entire... It is coming in. Awesome. Your entire body shakes for 5 days. And this wall is, you know, it's cool not having a neighbor right behind us. It's real quiet, but the neighbor who lived there, he was a good dude. He was really quiet already. This wall puts up so much heat. I can't grow anything in my garden anymore. At least that's what I'm going to blame it for. That it's the wall's fault that I can't grow stuff. And the truth is, I'm just not a very good gardener. I have big plans that I never really follow through with them. So, it's fun. But if I had to do this for a living, I'm pretty sure I'd get fired right away. Built this little concrete plant stand bench around the tree a while ago. Used juniper, redwoods for a wraparound. It's bowing out, but it serves a purpose. And then I repurposed some security gate wrought iron, and then I put inputs on like that. So this is what that gate looks like. And there's the gate right next to the house. It goes down over. This piece is just a partition. I put my garbage cans behind it so I don't have to look at garbage cans. I'm sitting on the back porch. And then I did the same thing with this fence. There's actually 2 fences there. There's the ugly old upright fence, but in front I have uprights, and I'm gonna continue that. I might do a rampart wall on the bottom. I'm not sure. And then this is gonna be an adobe wall. I'm gonna get some stucco and cut that out, and it's gonna be a window, and you can see through right where that big pointy rock is at. If you sit right here, you'll be able to go through the bales and catch some cool background. It's called Borrowed Landscape. It's a style of gardening that makes your yard look bigger, is if you can borrow stuff in the background. I can't really because I got this huge fence, but I can make this fence work if I take this path out to that far corner and bring in some dark gravel. It'll make that, and then a line of white in the foreground will make the whole fence look like it's floating. I'm excited about doing that project, but currently it's too hot to be working that much in the yard. It's not too hot, it's just kind of dangerous. And the shit that I got going on with work and stuff right now, I don't need to overexert myself. I'm already pretty stressed out and I don't want to get sick. Yeah, if you look at that cloud formation, it's definitely coming in. It's way above the pole now. That'd be so awesome. Let me turn this back down and see if we can watch this. Pretty cool. Daisy, she can always entertain herself. What you doing? What you doing, Daisy? Come here. She's a good girl. She's a wonderful dog. She's bad, but she's really cute when she does it, so. She's a good dog. So no outburst yet from the clouds. That means the cell is still sucking up energy. Oh man, this is going to be awesome. This could be a very dangerous storm. We had one hit about 11 years ago. It's called a downdraft, a supercell downdraft, and it has like a wind shear force of something equivalent to most tornadoes. And I was in a box truck about 1 block from where it hit, and the storm came in and it lifted my box truck onto like 2 wheels and kind of held it there for about 4 seconds and then put me back down. And I didn't realize it, but this whole place, all those power lines you see right here, those were all wooden power lines, and they all snapped, and this wire came down on this house, a couple houses down that road, and it landed right in the corner of my yard. And we couldn't, the fire department had the road closed off to it. None of the houses none of the residents in these houses down the canal could go into any of their houses. And then Fox News parked a news van right in my driveway and zoomed in on the address and then told everyone on live TV that these people won't be able to return to their homes tonight. And almost every house got robbed that night. Tell you what, makes you lose a lot of hope and when it comes to that kind of shit. They're good people. Yeah, came down, crushed the fence, and SRP said it was an act of God and they're not going to pay for any of it. So a bunch of people got robbed. This came over, broke my fence. I don't really hate SRP. They're not bad. I mean, they provide a utility, and collectively they have to have approval for some major decisions that they make, which is, I guess, honorable. But neighbors should be neighbors, should be people. When you have a corporation or a utility or an entity of some corporate capacity border your residence, your property, where you go to be calmed and protected, is just no good. See all this red coming in? That's not dust yet, but my camera's not really showing this the correct color. It's like more of a red than a brown. There's another cell coming up above it. That could happen. That could be cool. I just don't think it's gonna quite make it. So the neighbor that owns this house next to me, their yard goes. They share a fence with the canal, and I used to share a fence with the canal, and I set up a gate before they put this big concrete fence in. The corner ended right in my corner, so I put a gate in so I could in a lock on this side, so when I wanted to go for a walk down the canal, I wouldn't have to walk down to the park. I could literally go in my backyard, open the gate, and I was on the canal. It was really nice. And go fishing in the canal. I first moved in here 20 years ago. The first day I got here, I went out in the canal and went fishing, and I caught a bass, a tilapia, a catfish, and a trout, all in about 6 minutes. It was crazy. I was like, I'm gonna like this place. And then, I don't know, 15 years ago, SRP finally put in a solid bottom. It used to be a mud bottom, and it was good for this whole neighborhood. We had a lot of water leached into the soil. Once they put it in there, the water wasn't seeping in at any type of capacity to where it would be measured, and it kind of killed the fishing too. Fish do not like a fiber concrete bottom. But over the last few years, there's been sediment that kind of goes into that canal because the current's not too high, and the fish are starting to rebound. So there might be some good fish in another 5 years. Caught some really, really big tilapia in that canal. Grant caught the biggest one that I've ever seen landed. His was probably pushing 4.5 pounds. State record's 6.5, I think. And I've seen one that's bigger than that. I just couldn't catch it. They're really neat animals to catch them as far as fishing goes. They fight way harder than a bass. And the dog just hanging out. She's like my shadow. She follows me everywhere I go when I'm at home. She's a good dog. Oh, don't see much lightning. And I'm starting to smell a lot of dust in the air, so yeah. I think the storm piddled out. Maybe not. I was the recipient of a kind gesture last Friday, and what I mean by that is I'm just at work doing my thing, and it was a rough week, to say the least, but I'm getting through it, doing the best we can. And boy, got a lot of different opinions from a lot of different types of people, and the one I remember the most, over even some pretty horrible things I heard, was something that was really nice. This lady I work with comes up to me and says, Ben, I need to talk to you about this, and it's a problem we're having at work. And she's like, and I'm about to not getting my defenses up, but I'm about to get yelled at again, I think. But I'm maybe not yelled at. I don't know what she's saying, but I don't want to talk about it. I've talked about this problem we've been having to everyone nonstop and apologizing for it. And it's just takes a lot out of you because you care. And well, anyway, she says, I need to talk to you about this. And you need to tell everyone you work with that we love your team. When bad things happen, that is not what defines you. What defines you is how you react to it and how it affects you and how you can control the outcome. You I don't know. It just hit on a lot of different levels to me that we might not have control over the events that happen to us, but we absolutely, and probably at a different way, different level, more importantly, we control how we react to them. Inevitable but tangible fate. It's like a dichotomy of that is like, I don't know. I definitely appreciate simple things more. A good meal, a good yoga session, a good nap, a good kiss, a good hug, a good shower, a good sweat, a good thunderstorm. Those matter. They might be the only thing that really matters at all. Well, I think the storm isn't going to happen. That bottom cloud, I think, is dust. So these big supercells will go out there in old cotton fields and over down by Sackatoon and Wilcox. And these thunder cells will just sit here and they'll build up all the energy and then they'll just drop all this water. And downforce will push all of the topsoil dust into the air and cause these dust storms, they call them. In here, we kind of adopted it. Also, it's a haboob, which is that Arabic for earth storm? I'm not really sure. Crazy. You know, they say the biosphere of the earth, a region that is continually growing and won't go away, is arid desert. It grows every year. And anyone who's actually been to the desert knows the desert's not this lifeless place. But by comparison to I don't know, the old wood forests of the Northeast, or maybe the Northwest up in the rainforest up there. You might think this is barren, but it's got a lot of life. It takes a little bit more to notice it. I was out here. It was a night like this. I think it was closer to maybe September. And I decided to pull out this chain link fence to expand my garden. I had a dog run over in the side yard a long time ago, and it's dark like this. It's darker actually. My lights weren't plugged in or anything, and but the moon's kind of out, and I go over and I start yanking on these aluminum poles that are in concrete in the ground. And after wrestling with it for a while, I finally pull it out of the ground. And I'm sitting there and I look into the hole, and it's dark, right? The entire thing, the bowl, like the hole, glows neon green, like bright, like someone dropped a flashlight into this hole. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? And I get down close to it and I look into the hole, and I had somehow disturbed a glowworm nest, and there was like 5 glowworms in this dry, packed caliche soil embedded into the concrete in the pole. And when I pulled it open, they did a stress release, and the entire bowl just like pulsated green. It was insane. I reached down and grabbed one, and I went into the house. I had everyone turn off the lights, and then I opened up my hand and I showed them all the glowworm. That was pretty awesome. Over by the garage, I'm doing some little bit of landscaping. I'm tearing out some pavers or building some pavers, I can't remember, but anyways, I'm moving a bunch of material. And right next to the foundation there, I found subterrestrial. It was under the ground, the surface of the ground. When I was moving this with a flat nose shovel, I dug up a 12-inch snake worm, a worm snake. I can't remember how you call it, but it's a snake, and it looks like a giant worm. Has no eyes, has a rounded face, and they eat worms. They're completely harmless, but they are a trip to look at. And I dug one of those up over by the garage. That was sweet. Now my neighbor, he had said when he was a kid here, someone had came across the coral snake. So there's coral snakes that are native to Mesa, I guess. That'd be a trip to see one of those. Never seen any rattlesnakes in my neighborhood. I'm sure there are some, but I haven't ever seen any. Not a lot of scorpions either. That might change with this brick wall they put up. That's the easiest way to get scorpions, is to have a brick wall in Phoenix and not have it painted. If there's little tiny holes, like a concrete wall, that's how you make a scorpion farm. All you gotta do is lay a bunch of unpainted concrete blocks on their side, and it makes a perfect nest for them. But we don't have any scorpions. We do have black widows, but they don't really bother me. If I come across them in the yard, them or their egg nests, I don't typically do anything to them. They don't really bother me. I do if they're anywhere in my tool shed where I need to, my work gloves or anything I'm going to be using my hands with. Yeah, they gotta go. So. But I think I've probably been bitten once or twice by black widows in the feet. Really thick skin down by your toes. They can't inject a lot of venom into your feet because your skin's so tough unless they get on top of your foot. bad is when you have them fall down on you from like, here comes the wind. They fall down from you from above. I had a roommate years ago, and we were putting together a pool table, giant billiards table, and it was in storage for like 5 years. Wow. We're putting it together, and it's all dusty, and putting it together, and he's underneath it, and he says, "Ow, my neck hurts." And he comes out, and he's got a black widow, like buried her fangs into his like spine of his neck. And he got really sick. Here it comes. Feels like a tornado. Didn't feel like a tornado, but that the growl of a storm is so people usually remember. Something really bad happens is you hear just that rumble. Got a little calm spot right now. We'll see what happens. I think we're about to get hit again in about 20 seconds. And then the rain will come, hopefully, after that. Let's say we're at minute 38 right now. Let's say 39:50. See if it starts pouring. A minute and 30 seconds right now. 90 seconds, and we're about to get poured on. You know how you get the valley fever? You do this shit. When the storm's blowing, you go outside and breathe in all this fucking shitty fucking dirt. You know what? In about 30 seconds. Better start raining. Comes a second gust, and then the rain's gonna follow it. "15 seconds. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Holy crap. No rain yet. Dog died. which is dig a hole and bury her, but she's so heavy, I'm just gonna let her stay there. What's she doing? Daisy too.